Generally, people have fear in doing something new, something additional, something extra. Like you will see, when Srila Prabhupada uh, went to the West, there were many Brahmanas in India who were opposing. They were saying that how can somebody cross the ocean and go to the Paschatya Desh? Because across the oceans there are Mlechas, Chandalas, Yavanas and all living. If one goes and associates with them, one will become degraded and polluted in one's character, and the goal of life will be thwarted. But then Prabhupada didn't go abroad to get degraded, rather deliver the degraded people there. He made the hippies into happies. So you hear his example of Prabhupada. He underwent a couple of heart attacks. Still he took the risk. And when Prabhupada was staying in America, I was recently reading in the Lilamrita, the 8 defeats that Prabhupada faced in America. And in those defeats, he never gave up. There is a poem in Ulysses. In Ulysses, there is a beautiful poem. The last line says like this: to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. He says to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. In the same manner, the very great souls like Srila Prabhupada, when going gets tough, they get going. Because they have a very tough determination. Yatantascha dridavrata. So I will tell you shortly what are these 8 defeats Prabhupada faced. When he went to America for the first 1 year, nothing was happening much. So he was wondering, things are not moving, things are not growing, I am getting old. So what should I do? Prabhupada was wondering. At that time he understood one thing, that we will need our own place in America to bring some boys and girls and train them. Otherwise, I am hopping and jumping from one place to another. Nobody is able to provide me a permanent facility. And then Prabhupada decided I'll take some house and make it like a center. So one hot man showed his bungalow, which was ground floor and first floor. And he was ready to sell it in 7 lakh rupees. Prabhupada was very happy. So he wrote to India, to many people, whether they can offer a donation. So there were 2 hitches for bringing money from India to America. One hitch was, the Prime Minister has to grant permission to release the money from India to America. So Prabhupada wrote a letter to the Prime Minister of India through one Tirtha Maharaj, saying that, so I am spreading the culture of India in the West. So you should kindly allow this donation amount to come to America so that I can build a temple in America. So that was in process. Along with that, there was another hitch. He didn't have many acquaintances to give money. So who will give money? So Prabhupada wrote to Sumati Morarji, for your Bala Gopal, I am making a temple in America. So I'll be very thankful if you could offer some help. Also, many of my new upcoming boys want to learn Mridangam. So if you can arrange to send some few Mridangams and help me build this temple. There was no reply from her. That was one of the defeat. She just kept quiet. Similarly, Tirtha Maharaj was supposed to meet the Prime Minister of India and get the money sanctioned. There was no reply. That was another defeat. And in the meantime, there was a Padampat Singhania. Prabhupada came to know that he wants to build a temple in America. So Prabhupada thought it is win-win. I also want to build a temple. He wants to build a temple. Wonderful. So he wrote a letter to him. That here is Hartman who is giving a building. So if you can give me 7 lakh rupees, I can purchase this building. Can you please grant that amount? Padampat Singhania said, I want to spend 50 lakhs, not 7 lakh. And Prabhupada said, really? Okay, first you give 7 lakh and then balance money you can help me for preaching and expansion. But Padampat Singhania had another idea. He told Prabhupada that I want to make a small temple, but which is very articulate and has a very great aesthetic appeal. With a lot of sculptures, very fine-tuned temple. It should be a small temple, not a big temple. But Prabhupada said, what are you talking? We need a Sankirtan movement in the West. For that, we need a big hall for chanting and dancing. And Prabhupada said, okay, let us combine our thoughts. Let me take this 2-story building and I'll make a beautiful gopuram in the top, and that you design in a very meticulous way. Spend all your money, but for these 2 floors, I need only 7 lakh. Balance money, you put it on the gopuram if you want. So you are a Dwaraka wala, I am a Vrindavan wala, Prabhupada said. Vrindavan Valas are simple and Dwarka Valas are opulent. Okay, you make the opulent Gopuram and I will do preaching in the 2 halls. But Padma Singh said, how can you take a old building and make a temple out of it? No, no, no. He said, I'm not interested. But Prabhupada didn't close his doors to him. He thought in future he may give me money. So he kept him in the side. Then Prabhupada wrote to Universal Book Depot, told them that I gave you Bhagavatams to distribute. Have you distributed? My money is running out in America. Can you please send me some money? And then Prabhupada said, you are only taking in charge in Mumbai. Now I want to extend it to Pune, Nagpur, Aurangabad, all the different parts of Maharashtra. Whole Maharashtra dealership, you guys can take it. And distribute my books as quickly as possible and get me as much money. Because right now I'm in America, I don't have any money. I have only little money for next 1 or 2 months. So the Universal Book Depot people wrote back to him saying, Swamiji, nowadays the modern day man is not interested in spiritual subject matter. And we are not able to sell any of your books, even in Mumbai, what to speak of other places. So we want to return all your books back to you. And we don't want to be dealer for you, they wrote. So books were not getting sold in India. Money was not coming from India. And Tirtha Maharaj could not meet the Prime Minister of India. So therefore the permission was not coming. Padampat Singhania closed doors. He said he doesn't want to build. He doesn't want to give it for the Hartman's building. Sumati Morarji kept quiet. She didn't respond at all. Now Prabhupada was thinking, anyway, I will not give up my effort. So he went to Hartman and he told them, sir, the money which was supposed to come from India is on the way. It will take some time. In the meantime, you can kindly allow us to use this place and we can also get more sympathizers. And Prabhupada said, anyway, if you keep it closed, you have to pay the tax for the place. So that tax I will pay. And if you want a small rent, I can pay also for this place. Allow me to stay here and continue. Within 6 months to 1 year period, money will come, 7 lakh rupees, then I will buy it from you. But Hartman had no heart. He said, sorry, not interested. He said, you guys can vacate. I want to immediately sell it to somebody else. So Prabhupada was very disheartened. At that time, he thought, alas, such a good property is going now. Okay, never mind, we will look for another property. So Hartman's property was gone. And Prabhupada was thinking, now how can I get any support or any help? He even told Hartman, if you want, I will make you one of the trustees of ISKCON. But Hartman was not interested. So in the meantime, Prabhupada was trying to acquire support from various places. At that time, he got one good news. Lal Bahadur Shastri, is Prime Minister of India at that time. He is traveling to Russia, and from Russia he is going to come to America. So Prabhupada was very happy because he had already given copies of Bhagavatam to Lal Bahadur Shastri, and he had appreciated it. Now he comes to America, he can very easily tell him to give permission for sanctioning money from India to America. So Prabhupada was awaiting his trip to US. But unfortunately, he died in Russia only. He went to Russia, but he couldn't come to America. He passed away. So Prabhupada thought, alas, that opportunity is also gone. Now what is to be done? He was thinking. Then in the meantime, letter came from Tirtha Maharaj. The next Prime Minister of India was Indira Gandhi. So she told Tirtha Maharaj that your Swamiji want to take money from India to America. She said, I cannot sanction it. The money should come into India. Money cannot be allowed to go out of India. Although he says that he is expanding the culture of India, I appreciate his activities. But you suggest him to collect money locally in America and spend, not to take money from India, like that Indira Gandhi said. So that door was also closed. So Prabhupada thought, oh, no money from India at all now. Still, he kept the option. He thought that maybe Indira Gandhi will not be Prime Minister always. Somebody else will come. They may give sanction. And he also kept writing letters to our Padampat Singhani also, encouraging him, to Sumati Morarji and him, hoping that someday they will support. Meantime, one letter came to Prabhupada from one brahmachari. So that brahmachari asked, Swamiji, can I come to America and help you in preaching? Mukti brahmachari. So Prabhupada said, that's a very good idea. Your guru is Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur's disciple. And I am also Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur's disciple. So we both are God brothers. So take permission from your guru and then come to America and help me. And the disciple said, can I come directly to you now? And after coming to America, we will tell my guru. Like that he asked. Prabhupada said, no, that's not a proper etiquette. First you should take permission from guru and then come. So he went to his guru. His guru told him that Bhaktivedanta Swami is wasting his time in America. Americans are all mlechas. They won't be interested. He is wasting his time. You don't go there and waste your time also. You just do seva here only. His guru told him. So that brahmachari wrote to Prabhupada saying that, Swamiji, my Guruji told me that your activities are ridiculous. They are waste of time. And then Prabhupada said, I got you a ridiculous letter. And then he said, there are many people who say that I am a failure in America. Maybe I am a failure for 1 year. But even Lord Nityananda was also a failure, so-called failure when he was trying to preach to Jagai Madai in the first go. In fact, Jagai Madai picked up a pot and came running behind Nityananda. In fact, Madai was successful in hitting it on Nityananda's head and it was bleeding also. So was it a failure for him? Eventually Lord Chaitanya came there with a chakra and then Jagai Madai were delivered and then they both attained love of God. So a Vaishnava's attempt to preach in this world can never be ridiculous. Lord is watching it. Even if he doesn't succeed, still Lord is happy for the attempt that the Vaishnava has made. Like that Prabhupada wrote. And Leelamrita, Sachidas Maharaj writes that in this way there were defeat after defeat after defeat for Prabhupada. And Krishna stripped away all support from Prabhupada. There was no money, there was no manpower for 1 year, and Prabhupada was bereft of any help. One day Prabhupada had one David who had accommodated him in his long hall. Half the hall he used, another half he gave to Prabhupada. Prabhupada wrote to his Vaishnava friends that in India, I'll make David the first Vaishnava in America. And he is going to help me establish the movement. But one day he heard a loud shout. And Prabhupada went to the other side and saw David had taken drugs. And David was screaming. And his eyes had become bloodshot. And he wanted to shoot Prabhupada, kill Prabhupada. Prabhupada immediately took his typewriter and trunk and immediately fled from there. Early morning, 5 o'clock. And he was on the road. And Prabhupada thought, where to turn now? Should I turn left or should I turn right? Because I don't have any place to stay now. This was the only place I had. I have no friends or relatives here in America. No acquaintances. So what do I do now? And then at that time the thought came, Mike and Jan are my students who come for the classes. And they were boyfriend and girlfriend. They were about to marry. So Prabhupada went to their place and he battered the door. Early morning, 5 o'clock. When they opened the door, they were shocked, Swamiji, you are here. What happened? You are here with your trunk. And Prabhupada told the whole story. And they immediately welcomed him in. And they were very ashamed because they are not even married yet. They are just living together. And they were about to marry in a few months. But they accommodated Prabhupada in their place for a while. And then they, with help of the other boys, they arranged a storefront in New York. You all know that Matchless Gifts shop. So I am telling you, you can see Prabhupada actually put his life on risk. One day, early morning, Prabhupada was walking through the street and a lot of hippies were lying. He had to cross over their bodies and walk. And then later on, the youth told him, Swamiji, it's not good for you to walk in the early morning amongst these drunken hippies lying on the road. Some of them are holding pistols in their hand. They can shoot you also. Prabhupada said, I was not aware. He was so innocent. Krishna only protected him. You can see that. In this way, he took a lot of risk in old age. Ask yourself a question. Somebody in India, a man who is 60 plus or 70 plus, do you think he will leave his home and have a couple of heart attacks in Jaladuta on the way and still go to America and preach? Did he not take risk? Think about the risk that he took. So he came out of the comfort zone. For Prabhupada, the comfort zone was Vrindavan. All his god brothers were there. The 7 temples were there. Radha Damodar had given him a beautiful place to stay, very close to, Rupa Sanatan Samadhi and Bhajan Kutir. Peacefully stay there and take darshan of the deities, chant the holy names, bow down to the Lord every day and go back to Godhead. such a beautiful, comfortable life. So he was ready to give up such a life to go to America and stretch himself. He put himself in the stretch zone and was subjecting himself to great risks and great challenges. So therefore, Prabhupada was not fearful of failure at all. In fact, one failure came, he was ready to take another direction. Let me try this, let me try that. Therefore, you will see in stretch zone, life is exciting. There are anticipations. One is very lively and one gets challenges and one is willing to take risk. In this way, that's a very thrilling life. So if you want our spiritual life to be thrilling also, if you can go from comfort zone to stretch zone, then the life would be the yellow zone. Life would be very enlivening. Uh, you know, it would be very meaningful.